Hello bookworms, Ilona Barnhart here. This month we're talking about Muladhara, the first chakra. So let's look at it at a glance. For reference, you can reference page 32, the really neat chart that Anodea has. Muladhara tends to be a little bit more masculine in its energy, and it's all about owning your right to be here. So whatever that means, however you get to be empowered to really fully be yourself and reaching your potential, reaching your goals, and really just owning your presence here. That's the big overall thing that Muladhara really embodies. And it has to do with your foundation, your history, and also the generations that came before you. So the stories that your great-grandma told your great-grandma and your grandma and then told your mom, and then the stories that your mom told you. And it's not necessarily verbal stories of your ancestry, but it's things that we believe that have come from places not our own. Everything that we know up until a certain point when we're younger has been passed down. And stories, whether they're verbal or not, or just by way that our parents choose to do things, become our stories. And they're great stories, and they definitely probably serve us for a very long time. But there might come a time when those stories are no longer life-enhancing or support our evolution or our goals. And recognizing that, then you become in a place of empowerment, and you have the choice of potentially letting go those stories and creating new ones, the ones that will serve and support you on your journey. So a lot of Muladhara, if there is a lot of fear present, as well as fearlessness, so just tossing all caution to the wind, you can get to sense that the chakra is a little bit imbalanced. And a lot of times, your stages from utero, pretty much to your first year of birth, is when Muladhara begins to form. And depending on what happened during that time, shapes how you respond to change, how you respond to believing in yourself, if you're capable of doing something or not. So something to consider is to speak with your mom and your parents, even your grandparents if they're around, your aunts and uncles, whoever you want to talk. You want to talk to as many people as possible to kind of put the pieces together and see what was it like for your parents and for your mom particularly when you were in the womb, because that definitely impacts how you react or respond to your own body. And were you breastfed or not? Maybe your mom gave you to like a wet nurse, or maybe you were brought up in formula. And how long of a time were you breastfed for, if you were. Also, your birthing story has a lot to do with how this pattern of beginnings, middles, ends, and time in between. So your birthing story, if you have one, can really let you know or give you insight into how you do anything in life, or more specifically in terms of like projects or things that you want to achieve. So for instance, if you're a type of person that needs a little push in getting your idea started or a project started, like you really need someone alongside of you, or some encouragement, a lot of times the possibility is that you might have been induced, or birth was begun for you. So it's not like you were ready to come out, even though it might have been 2 weeks later. And so you need a little bit of a push. You might be coming up with great ideas, we just don't know why you're not starting, and it could come from that. Also middles, like if your mom had an episiotomy, or you needed aid to come out of the canal, so you might rush through your middle. So like if you get started, you're in a project, like you have no problem starting projects, but then when you're in it, you just kind of want it to be over. Like you want to go to the end point. Like the journey is something that you struggle with, and that might have to do a lot with how long it took you to come out through the canal, if there was assistance or not, things like that. And then your ending, the ending really is crucial when after birthing, How quickly were you given to your mom to bond, or were you taken away? And a lot of these things we'll talk a little bit more in depth too, because it definitely informs you how you think about those things in your life. So how are you in terms of ending relationships? Do you just like peace out without saying a word? Do you actually sit down with someone and talk things through and end things peacefully? Do you actually finish your projects? Or do you just leave things hanging, like projects, relationships, whether romantic or not? And then finally, do you allow space in between a beginning and an ending, or an ending and a beginning? Is there space, or do you tend to be a serial monogamist, or were you a serial monogamist? Or did you have a lot of time, and was it intentional time on your own between things? Do you rush from one project to the next? Or do you actually give yourself time to really soak in what just transpired, and then you're able to move on to the next thing? So your birthing story could definitely inform you of that. And once you recognize this pattern, my teacher used to always say, how you do anything is how you do everything. And I found that to be very insightful and very true. So if you recognize this pattern of your projects, maybe in relationships, maybe at work, if you recognize that, and you recognize that where it comes from, whether it was like the birthing experience or different things in your life, then you could at least pinpoint it to that. And recognize too that it definitely has helped you. It's a way of processing or doing things. So maybe starting something and trying to get to the end is something that like definitely you needed or did because it got shit done. There's nothing wrong with that. But at one point, it might be that you need a little bit more time in the process, and you just get so frustrated that you just don't even finish projects, or you get so frustrated, or you're so stuck in perfectionism that you don't finish things. And by recognizing patterns, you come to a place of choice. You could stay in patterns that serve your better goals or potentials, or you might recognize that some of these patterns no longer are aiding you into becoming who you want to be. And then you have the choice of ending that if you wanted to. Oh, there's like some birds flying out. Like heard they're like flapping feathers. So pretty. We have a couple families here. But yeah, so once you recognize a pattern, then you have the choice of staying, and then if nothing changes, or you could do certain things, figure out ways of making change, so then you could do different things, become more empowered. Alright, so balance characteristics. Good health, vital energy, aliveness, groundedness, comfortable in your body, trust in the world, feel safe. You're a part of a community, and you're actively active in a community. You flow in the world, and you have a healthy relationship with food. If any of those things are something that you would like, or they're not there yet, maybe after balancing Mulandar, or after a month here, you might come to a little bit more of a balance. If your chakra is excessive, you will might experience fear of change. You're addicted to security. You have very rigid boundaries, and overeating. If you're deficient in the chakra, it might show up as you being underweight in your body, anxiousness, inability to make choices, inability to settle down, poor focus, lack of a relationship to money, poor boundaries, and chronic disorganization. This is one way of coming to balance with those things. And one thing that my teacher suggested was just to sit by yourself, with yourself, or maybe you could have someone there for support, and repeat the words, I am beautiful, I am enough, or I have the right to be here. And really repeating it over and over again, even if you don't believe it, and just feeling what is happening in your body, where there might be a blockage in your body, or how that makes you feel, and really thinking about that. But once you connect it to a blockage somewhere in your body, keep repeating it and keep thinking of that place until you feel a shift. And it's incredible what happens and how that happens. So if you give it a go, let me know. Otherwise, happy reading. She's gonna go in a lot more depth into each of the things that we spoke of, and she's going to give multiple different exercises for balancing Mulandara. But before I let you go, if you wanted to connect or think about Mulandara by maybe wearing a little bit more red this month, or having like a red object around you, just so that you're a little bit getting more in tune with that center in your body. And then talk to your grandparents and your parents and your uncles and anybody that's around that knew your parents when your mom was pregnant and that first year of your life. And then speak with your mom about your birthing story. Ciao for now.